Hello, my loves, and a warm welcome from wherever you're watching me from. Thank you so much for being here right now, this instant. And I would really love to welcome you to join me in this stream for the next hour or so, where we shall be discussing all things success. And mind you, today we are starting on a sweet note. Literally, we are starting on a very sweet note. So, as you know, as ever, yesterday teased us a bit, They were teasing us a bit with the product launch of theirs. And it just went live like 1 hour ago. It was their February spread. And as I quote, Valentine's Day special collection is here. Thoughtfully made for sharing, gifting, and slow mornings at home with loved ones. My loves, this is something that I have addressed before. That 2026 for the Sussexes is a year of love. It's a year of joy. It's a year of family. And today they just announced it. The month of love could not have kicked off with a bang. The month of love is here, and we are all for it. Because they just announced an array of items, 6 to be precise, new jams, new spreads, for us to welcome that wonderful month of love with. And on a past week that has had its ups and downs, especially for the Sussexes, this is such a wonderful note to begin with. And the 6 items, we have a strawberry spread in keepsake packaging. We also have a strawberry spread trio, raspberry spread in keepsake packaging, raspberry spread trio, and strawberry spread. And we are all here for it. But one thing I do know is that right now there are some people who are going to be blowing a gasket. Because I did a story earlier this month, my loves, and it was a show in the Sun where Ingrid Stewart and Charlie were discussing Meghan's raspberry spread. Where it had come out that she had sold close to 1 million copies of her spread. And they were trying to portray her in a very negative light, saying that she needed to donate the money to charity, citing examples of King Charles, I don't know. And one thing, my loves, we would ask them to, first and foremost, hold their horses. Here we have actual working royals with their own businesses, and Meghan, as the boss she is, she's killing it in her businesses, and they were trying to portray her in a negative light. I saw them giving an example of King Charles, saying that he had started his own raspberry spread and that he sold it for charity. My loves, he sold it for charity. And mind you, this is a king who is earning a salary from taxpayers' money. They have the royal wealth. I mean, of course, it's perfectly normal for him to sell it for charity. This is because UK taxpayer money is sort of funding their lifestyles. So these other side businesses they can have that luxury of selling it for charity for a PR stunt or whatever they want to do. It's their own money. We don't care about it. But now, my loves, they were trying to drag Meghan in the mud with their weird philosophies. And one thing has become clear to me is that they don't know sometimes the words that they are using, because Meghan and Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are philanthropists. They are philanthropists. And a philanthropist does not just do something for the PR stunt or just to be forgotten in a minute. A philanthropist looks at the long-term effects. You know, they don't look at they don't look at that instant impact. They look at what will happen 5, 10, 20 years from now. And that is what the Sussexes are about. So when they try to compare King Charles' acts of charity to their philanthropic work, I'm like, they really don't get them, you know, because they say he sold his jam factory and the funds were used for charity. But right now, if you were to go and research how useful that money was to the different charities that he donated, can we see the effects really? My loves, can we really see the effects? And here they are trying to portray him as this great charitable person, just because he sold a side business, something that did not have much impact to him. And they're trying to smear Meghan in the dirt with it. That video made me really mad, actually, because I was just so happy about the Sussexes. They are out here making their own money. Meghan being the icon that she is, she's making her own millions, and we're here for it. And they're trying to turn it into something negative. Like, my loves, what's their problem? They always have to turn every dark thing, every good thing. It's like dropping a drop of ink into a pool of water. They are dirtying it up, you know, making it black as their hearts, as their characters. And they went as far as to mock her. You know, as when I saw this spread that she has just introduced, I was reminded of that video and I just got mad. But I also got happy, because if that was one raspberry spread, my loves, just one, it drove them nuts. Now she has dropped not one, not two, not three, not four, my loves, not even 5. She has dropped 6 new spreads. Oh, my days. Oh. I know right now where they are. They're seething, they're boiling up. Because they even tried to exaggerate the prices. I remember Charlie saying that, how can somebody buy a jar of jam for 51 pounds? And if you go to the official As Ever website, that bottle of jam was going for $42, equivalent to 31 pounds. You know, 31 pounds became 51 pounds in his mouth. Doesn't he know how to read? I mean, I think I somehow understand why they make these fallacious claims, why they're sometimes so deranged, and some of the things they say make sense, because do they really have the papers, or do they just look for, or are the qualifications they look just hating on the Sussexes? Because sometimes you just wonder, do they even read what they are saying? Do they even know what they are saying? And he tried to exaggerate it as 51 pounds, while in actuality it is 31 pounds. And mind you, this is a business she has set up in the States, and they're in the UK, and still they're following her around each and every moment. And they say, oh, you left Britain, don't come back, but they are fixated on them, my loves. Each and everything they do, they are there fixated on them. I'm pretty certain this spread that they have just announced, you'll see it tomorrow. They'll have already tried and portrayed it in a negative light. Right now, I am certain in their newsrooms, you know, on their typewriters, on their laptops, typing away, trying to make fallacious claims. But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, the sky is blue. Even if I were to come here and say the sky is orange, it will never be orange. Even if I were to come here and say the sky is green, it would never be green, no matter what I write. So the Sussexes are still going to be successful. The Sussexes are still going to thrive, no matter what they say. Because that's just noise. That's just noise. That's just some buzzing, some flies buzzing. It won't affect the sweetness that we are seeing here. And they recently just spent a decade together, my loves. 10 years of a wonderful union. And we all saw that Instagram post where Duchess Meghan posted recreating their wedding day dance, you know, and Princess Lilibet behind the camera, my loves. Ah, man, what a beautiful moment it was. You know, it was just a wonderful, wonderful shot. So natural, so authentic in their home in Montecito. And they were just, Meghan was in some baggy shorts, Prince Harry in a sweatpant and t-shirt, you know, in their own little world. And Princess Lilibet was just there, seeing what real love looks like, experiencing it from her parents, you know, live. And it was such a beautiful moment. 10 years, my loves. 10 years together, 8 years of marriage, and 2 children. And what a wonderful family they have. I saw that post where she posted on 2016 in a certain swamp somewhere in the morning. They were just looking so radiant. And that's on that note, my loves, there's something, I don't know if you have noticed or if it's only me, but they are not aging. They are just looking better and better. Ay, my loves, like, did you just see the recent pictures at Sundance? Oh my days, the couple looked beautiful. Yo, Duchess Meghan was glowing. Literally, she was glowing. And Prince Harry himself was just looking so sharp, so handsome, in a casual, he was just dressed casually, and he just oozed class, you know. And they don't even seem to be in their 40s. They're just so vibrant, so thriving. And I guess this is what a happy marriage looks like, you know. This is what a loving marriage looks like. This is what it does to your psyche, to your skin, you know, to your whole atmosphere, because their vibe was just immaculate. I loved it. Honestly, my loves, I just loved it. The way they were just looking so good. And so as they, as ever surprises us for the Valentines, I know this is something that that means a lot to them, because my loves, they are in love and they're happy and they're thriving. Businesses are thriving, you know. Their family, the way they are raising their children, even the recent rebranding of Actual to Actual Philanthropies. They said it was a method to incorporate their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, into the endeavor. And this is something we would like to tell the haters and the derangers, that philanthropy is not just something that you do for yourself, it's something that you do for the future, as they have clearly demonstrated it here. You know, on that note, I can't just get over how how beautiful they looked on November last year. You know, our big kitchen LA, where they helped them prepare food to be donated to those who did not have. And I saw Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie there helping their parents package the food. And what a beautiful moment it was. You know, these days it's really rare to find people who can walk the talk. And that is something the Sussexes just do naturally. They don't just try and say something and do the opposite behind the scenes. They walk the talk. And we saw their children at their young age. They're already learning how to help out in the community, how to leave an impact in the community, just as their parents are doing. And my loves, I just loved it. What great parenting is that? You know, like, I envy Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, because we are seeing a real life happily ever after. The stories that I used to read about, you know, they always finish with they lived happily ever after. We are never shown how a happily ever after looks like. We are never told. You know, they just get married and they lived happily ever after, the prince and princess. And here we have a lifelike representation, my loves, of happily ever after. And I just love it, you know. Something that has been, actually it was something that was disturbing curiosity when I used to watch these films when I was a kid. I used to watch the ending, and as I read them, you know, and they lived happily ever after. And I used to wonder, what is that happily ever after? But my loves, here is a real life example of happily ever after. Despite all the noises, despite all the yapping from the derangers and the haters, because they will always continue to hate. Here is a happily ever after real life scenario, and I am here for it, because clearly they are thriving, their ventures are thriving, their family is happy, you know, they are away from the UK media and all that toxicity and all that noise, and it shows. it reflects. Because I remember in that post that Duchess Meghan posted commemorating their 10 years anniversary together, their 10 years together, we also got to see a picture of their backyard in Montecito. The picture now in color, not in black and white. And that scenery, my loves, it was such a beautiful moment, And I saw in one of the pictures Princess Lilibet in the pool with her grandma, Doria, and the vibe was just immaculate. And that is something that pleases me a lot, by the way. That is something that always makes me smile. That is something that always never fails to make me smile. Knowing that they found a wonderful place away from all that toxicity that was in UK, where we saw they were mistreated, they were bullied, they were smeared. But now it's moments like this that just make me happy. They just make me delighted. Because we saw they're relaxed as a family, being very happy, being very jovial. And it just warmed my heart. What do you think, my loves? Because is it only me who just sees a happily ever after similarity, or what do you think? Let me know in the comments, because I don't think I'm the only one. And we see them smiling, and their smiles are natural. It's just oozes out of them, as compared to some other royals who always have to put up cameras, who always have to have a PR team, who always have to have a crisis manager in order to tell them how to behave in public so that they may appear happy, doing some fake stunts here and there to show the world that they are happy, they are a functional family, while in real life they could not be more dysfunctional. But in this case, this is something that just comes off so natural. And I saw a picture of Princess Lilibet drawing some vegetables on a paper. And it just warmed my heart, She's truly her mother's daughter. Because Duchess Meghan, ever since we've known her, has always loved cooking, loved preparing dishes. Even her spreads, you watch them, you'll see her explaining how to use them, showing you how to prepare some meals at home using her spreads. And I gotta say, Prince Harry is a very lucky guy. Honestly, he's a very lucky guy. He gives me something to aspire to, even though I may not be a real life prince, but he gives me something to aspire to, my own happily ever after. If I were to have one, I would want something similar to that. Because we just saw her painting, drawing on those vegetables. And on the end, yay, you did it! It was just so nice, And I just loved it. I loved that the family out there going to have fun, the children getting to be children. And in that picture, in that video of their backyard, I saw some chalk somewhere. And it would make sense, my loves. Because with the view that they have, it would make sense for you to want to draw something. Their house is a perfect canvas for art, for you to draw something nice. It's a perfect canvas. And I wouldn't blame them, because if I were in that position, I would want to draw something. Even if it wouldn't turn out great, I'd just want to draw something. And the picture that touched me the most was Prince Archie feeding that rhino. It just took me back. Memories. Hey, it took me back to my childhood. Because I remember when I was a child, my father took us to the orphanage, an animal orphanage. And in the animal orphanage, I remember I saw lions, I saw cheetahs, I saw leopards, I saw hyenas, I saw ostriches, I saw snakes, I saw giraffes. And I think I was around 7, 6 years old, somewhere there. And up to this day, that memory is imprinted in my head. If I relive it step by step, what we did that whole day. You know, I even remember touching a cheetah. Yeah, through the cage. They were kept behind the cage, obviously. I remember it was a mesh wire. I touched a cheetah like this through the mesh wire, just sort of reacted, and I was like, hey, and it was such a wonderful moment for me. And so seeing him feed a rhino, it reminded me of that. And those wonderful memories. I'm just so glad for Prince Archie that is making those memories, that is experiencing a wonderful, normal childhood, away from all this faking or all this fake stuff, because he is being allowed to live, he's being allowed to enjoy his childhood. And the Sussexes, Meghan and Harry, they're just letting them be kids. Unlike in some scenarios where it has come to light that some parents are holding their children hostage, copywriting everything they do. Here we see a good example of Prince Archie being able to just go to the zoo, the animals, have fun and laugh. And this is a core memory. This is something that when you grow older, like I am right now, this is something that you just remember and you just thank your parents. It just warms your heart. It just brings out a smile, even when I am sad or even when I am bored. It just brings up a smile. Because I even remember seeing them being fed, the lions actually. Yeah, I saw that one of the caretakers, they are coming with a bucket full of meat, throwing it to the lions, and they were chomping on it, tearing it up. And here he is feeding a rhino, and you could see how excited he is. Like, I saw his smile, and it just brought a smile, because I remember that little boy that I was, how excited I was. Me and my brothers, when we were going to the orphanage, parents took us there. And so seeing Prince Archie experience the same childhood, that joy, that laughter, that experience, it was a wonderful thing to see. My loves, that was a wonderful thing to see. And personally to me, it struck a chord somewhere here. It struck a chord. It just took me back. And I was glad to see that they are making these core memories away from all this negative British press, away from all these smear campaigns. They get to be kids, to enjoy their childhood. And it was such a wonderful thing. And I remember the crown jewel of that whole post was Duchess Meghan feeding giraffes. Ah, and you could just see how natural, how ethereal actually she looked. She just looked ethereal, you know. The giraffe her holding out, her holding out. I don't know if it was a spinach or what. I don't remember well. She was holding it out, and the giraffe was just there, removing its long black tongue, enjoying it, and it was wonderful. So, my loves, as you digest that, let me take a break for a minute, and I'll be right back. Hello, my loves, and welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience as I was just taking a sip of water and gathering myself a bit. So now, uh, on to something that really, really had my attention, something that just had me glued to my screens. And as I was listening to it and I was watching it, it just became apparent, you know. And as I said, my loves, as I was beginning this stream, it's the year of love, joy, and family. And as we approach the month of love, what other way, what better way to show love? Like these days, people are forgetting that love is a noun and also a verb. You can say it, but sometimes saying it is just not enough. You need to act upon it. I love you, my wife, I love you, my husband, but you don't act upon it, then those are just words. Those are just words, my loves. But last week we saw a husband acting upon those words. And by now you know who I'm talking about. He could not stand the harm that his wife has gone through. Those people had to be held accountable. So let's backtrack a bit. Let's rewind the clock. A brief montage, if you might like. In 2023, June, somewhere there, June, Prince Harry became the first senior royal in 130 years to testify in court. And he decided to go after the tabloids. He decided to go after the deranged. He decided to go after all this lying press. And in that time, it was against the Mirror. And he won. And then he came for the Sun. And he won. And now the case that has been on our minds the whole week, that has dominated our focus the whole week, it was the case against Associated Newspapers Limited, the print behind the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday. And my loves, here it's where it gets a bit serious. Because from what we saw, from what we heard from the witness statements, everything in the proceedings, one thing I can say, those guys are monsters. Nothing. I don't think there's baseline, like bottom line, those guys are monsters. Because some of the things that I heard they did to Prince Harry, that is just straight up barbaric. I mean, it just makes me mad. It just angers me so much. When I read the witness statement, all those claims, and it was Prince Harry and 6 others. We saw even Elizabeth Hurley go and be cross-examined. We saw Baroness Doreen Lawrence too do the same. And each time when you listened to them, it just became apparent that these guys are just straight up monsters. Because, and I remember on Monday, Prince Harry came to court. And first and foremost, because every dark cloud has a silver lining. I mean, my loves, we just saw how much he is well loved, how much he is well received, by the public, despite what the derangers, despite what those UK tabloids try to print, try to say, try to portray, you know? Because I remember this iconic clip when he was entering the court, looking so sharp, looking so focused, looking so dashing. And there was this member of the public there who shouted, "Prince Harry, we love you!" And we all laughed at that. Because indeed, Prince Harry, we do love you a lot. And it was nice to see that this whole propaganda that they have tried to propagate is slow. It's not. It has not been effective. You know, they have tried to make them appear as pariahs, they have tried to make them appear as if they are unrelatable. To portray them as these beings, you know, that are completely unrelatable. But on the ground, we see that it could not be more different. And as I said earlier, my loves, no matter how much we try and say the sky is green, it will always remain to be blue, because that's a fact. And a fact you can't deny it, because it simply is as it is. So that was clear proof, clear evidence of just how much beloved Prince Harry is, how much influence he has. The supporters were camping out there in the rain, waiting to see him. Waiting to see him. You know, it didn't matter. They were there for the man of the hour himself, Prince Harry. And my loves, he did not disappoint even the slightest bit. Because what they were expecting and what they got were two different things. I even saw on Sky News they were discussing the whole session, and they just said that Associated Newspapers Limited was shocked. They did not know whom they had come up against, because the Prince Harry that showed up was a Prince Harry that was not holding back. He meant business. He was not holding back. This was not something that he was doing for fun. Remember something that he said. He said that he was not doing this just for himself. He was doing this for all those people whom do not have a voice, who cannot go against a giant, you know, a dragon as big as Associated Newspapers Limited, a giant as big as the Daily Mail. And for all those people who can't fathom going against such a dragon, Prince Harry was like, let me at them. Give me that sword. I'm going to be a dragon slayer. And on the first week, oh my days, that dragon is already crippled. And we will go through it step by step. We will go through it step by step. But they did not expect to meet him at that intensity. And I just loved seeing him in such a passionate, convicted way. He knew what he came to do, and he went and did it perfectly. So much so that when he presented the evidence and all that on Monday and Tuesday, Associated Newspapers Limited, when they were given their own full day, they couldn't even last. I think, or maybe it was a ploy, you know, I think it was a ploy by them. to ensure that he testifies a day earlier, because he was supposed to be cross-examined on Thursday, but they brought it earlier by a day, and he was cross-examined on Wednesday. And I think they tried to sort of imbalance him. I don't know. They thought that he would be fazed. They thought that he would be scared. But he said, let's go. I was born ready. And when he entered on that box, when he was sworn in under oath to say the truth and nothing but the truth ate them alive. I mean, they were just, their barrister, Anthony White, in the cross-examination. Mind you, it was a cross-examination that was expected to last a whole day. It lasted less than 2 hours. 2 hours, my loves. Just 2. Prince Harry had done so much damage in those 2 hours. They were like, hey, no, let's not ask him any more questions. Because the deeper they dug, the more skeletons were uncovered in their closet. And there's, my loves, that was not a closet. That was a goddamn cemetery full of skeletons. And when they started unraveling it, oh my days, my loves, it was not pretty for them at all. It was not pretty. And I remember David Shabon, Prince Harry's barrister, the way he started. He said that their defense is a see no evil, do no evil defense, meaning there's no evil. You know, they pretended that they did not know what those journalists did, what those executives did. But the truth was there. The truth was laid there. And they could not hide from it. They could not hide from it. It was like a boxing fight, you know? And they were just given the handicap. They were just receiving jabs and hooks left, right, center. They were disoriented. But when you get to listen to what Prince Harry was saying, you know, what he was saying about what they did to him and all the other claimants, then you get to realize that these people are monsters, really. And it is something that they did over 20 years ago. My loves, over 20 years ago. And I saw some of them trying to argue, saying that it was so long ago that some of their actions are not actionable under British law. What sort of bogus claim is that? I mean, do they want to tell us that in 1997, invasion of privacy was not a crime? To fool us into believing that illegally tapping somebody's phone or bugging somebody's house and car was not a crime then. And they are just there trying to expect us to believe such nonsense, such stupidity. And for a moment there, I just felt for Prince Harry, honestly, when he was being cross-examined, his witness statement. When you go through it, you just realize the years of torment, and I just felt for him, you know, because he said that since 1997, my loves, 1997, when his mom, Princess Diana, died, that is when they started being overly in their business. And he stopped trusting the press from then. And mind you, he was 12 years old. 12. He wasn't even a teenager. I'll let you take a moment to process that. They started terrorizing a 12-year-old boy. A 12-year-old boy. For clicks, for views, for stories. You made his life a misery. Like, you were invading his privacy so much. He was terrorized. A 12-year-old boy, my loves. And mind you, he had just lost his mother. He had just lost his mother. And instead of being given time to grieve, instead of being given space to grieve, they were all up in his business. Hacking, bugging their house, excuse me, and to the extent of going as much as bugging their cars. That's a child you're doing that to. Because I remember he said that there were some pictures that were printed by an Italian magazine, and the source was the Mail. And those pictures, that conversation was a conversation that he had had with his brother William. It was a private conversation that they had had together when they were young. And somehow, details of that conversation surfaced in the media. Now tell me, my loves, what's that? How is somebody, like, how did they expect them to live knowing that everything I do, everything I say, anything I do, anything I say can be tapped into, can be hacked, can be broadcasted, can be made into a story? My loves, I mean, not even our prisons are that terrible. The cells, in the prisons, the prisoners, their cells have privacy. There are cameras all around in the yards and all those other areas, but at least the cells have privacy. They did not even have that. How do you do that to children? And since 1997 up to 2016, 2018 there, that is what they had just been doing to Prince Harry. They wrote 14 articles. He presented 14 articles, and they could not even argue 10 of them. They couldn't even argue 10. 10 of them. That's around 30%. Like, they couldn't even, because it was just so blatant. And one thing I just loved about Prince Harry is how prepared he was. He did not leave them any weaknesses for them to exploit. He came at them head on. And when they hit that wall, they were left bleeding. Because I remember in that witness statement, when he was being cross-examined by Anthony White, where he claimed that some of the journalists were his friends. The so-called sources were his friends. And I just loved how he responded. He said they were not. Never have they been my friends. He brought up a case of Katie Nichols and him being together in the same party in 2003, claiming that he had invited her. And he said he did not even dare do something of that sort. And if she had gotten an invite, then it was from the royal press correspondent or something of that sort, It did not come from him. He clearly stated, I did not know her. I did not know her. Yo, Anthony White, I did not know her. What are you saying? What is this you're trying to? He just carefully just denied it clearly. And he said, and they tried to make it appear as if he had a loose circle of friends. And he said he did not have a loose circle, and that his friends knew what Katie Nichols and Rebecca English and those other journalists, what they were about. So they did not keep loose lips around them. And he said if he ever suspected someone was maybe leaking stories to them, he would cut them off immediately. So when Anthony tried to portray that he was friends with Katie Nichols, and he refused it blatantly, so vehemently, and I just laughed. Because if this, if when they were writing the articles, the sources came from a friend of Prince Harry, while in real life that friend was them, Harry quickly denied those allegations and said that was just nonsense. And he even went as far as trying to insinuate that he used to converse with Rebecca English, they used to chat. And he said it was not his own will, he had to do so because he was told to do so. It was not his choice. Prince Harry would never interact with people who go behind his back and write such horrible stuff around him. Come on, he's not a fool. I mean, come on, Anthony, what are you saying? And he clearly said that if I ever talk to them, it's because I was under instructions to do so. And he said it was just cordial talking. We were not, I mean, if I were to meet somebody right now at a party and we just talk because of being nice, or because I'm being courteous, and then we leave, and then you go claiming that I'm your friend from that day on, I mean, I'll just look at you and wonder, are you okay? Because that's just delusional. He was just being courteous. As the prince that he is, he was just being courteous, not ignoring them. And now they mistook that as friendship. And I remember he described Rebecca English, he said that she was a young and up, at that time, she was a young and upcoming journalist who wanted to make her life, wanted to make her career over his stories, over the things they leaked about him. That is how he described her. That shows you that he knew from the get-go what the angle was. And honestly, my loves, I mean, she succeeded. She succeeded. She's the royal editor of the Mail, royal correspondent, something of that sort, royal editor of the Mail. And her counterpart, Katie Nichols, is also in that same situation in the Sunday Mail. I mean, clearly they made a career for themselves. As Prince Harry just said, he knew that is what they were doing. And they did, by the way. Kudos to them and whatever, and their black-heartedness and their nonsense, it made a career for them. So kudos to them. But now them going as far as claiming that they were friends. Friends. No, my loves. No, my loves. That was just delusion of the highest order. And as it became clear that they were going nowhere, as it became clear that Prince Harry was prepared, as it became clear that he had come ready to tackle anything they had thrown at him, they had to end the cross-examination short, because it was meant to last a whole day. They didn't even finish 2 hours, my loves. 2 hours. 2. 1, 2. Something that was supposed to last the whole day. And in the cross-examination, that is where now the defense was supposed to, try and sniff out lies, try and, like put him off game. Excuse me. Try and introduce their evidence, try and make this somehow discredit his evidence. But they could not. They could not, my loves. They couldn't. It was just a straight up knockout. It was a straight up knockout. The referee had to blow the whistle early. Yo, time out. They had to raise the white flag. 2 hours in, because they were being hammered properly with facts, with the truth. They have been used to writing false nonsense, and then when you ask the sources, they claim private sources, they claim classified sources, they claim unknown sources, or they say friends of Prince Harry, while all along it was just evidence, or it was just facts that were acquired illegally. So now when they were forced in the legal side of the law, when they were forced to portray their legality, they had nothing. They had nothing. They had nothing. It's like going into combat and the person opposite you is a knight, full clad in armor and everything, that metal armor, the helmet, everything, with a sword. And you're there with a pair of Crocs and a pair of boxers. And you're just being hammered left, right. You can't win because you're not prepared. And you're not prepared because there's nothing to prepare for. It's the truth. You can't disclaim that. So when I saw the cross-examination end after 2 hours, I even saw a piece on Sky where they were surprised at how articulate Prince Harry is, how well informed he was. Of course, he would have been. Because when he does something, he does it to perfection. He does not do it half-heartedly. Otherwise, he would have finished with the mirror, but he had to make sure each and every one of them was held to account. And the part where I felt for him, he said simply, all he wanted was an apology from these monsters for what they did to him and accountability on their part. Simple. Prince Harry does not need their money. I mean, do they think he and Meghan are struggling? Come on, my loves. You saw their Sundance outfit. Those are not people who are struggling. Those are people who are thriving. Their businesses are thriving. They don't need the money. I saw some of those tabloids, the UK tabloids, trying to portray it as if he needed compensation, as if he wanted compensation from them. And we tell them straight up, he does not need that. And he himself said all he wanted was accountability from them. And it just broke his heart being there, reliving those memories that they did. Those terrible memories that they forced him to relive. All he wanted was an apology. And they are so high off that power trip they're on that they just can't bring themselves to do so. And they say, it's okay. It's going to take you down anyway. He gave them the easy route. They refused it. Now they are going to go through the hard route. And by the time the trial is done, there'll be nothing left at all. There'll be nothing left, because truth at the end of the day will always win. Good always wins over evil, you know. And this is something that has been long coming, because I remember Kate Beckinsale. I remember she was complaining about Richard Eden, an executive producer in the Mail, where they had written claims of her illnesses, facts that were so private that only her and her mom had an idea about, and they had written about them. And she had called him out, telling him to stop writing such lies. And they were clearly obtained illegally. That's personal stuff, because they don't know about you, but medical information, that is something that is only accessible to the family, to the immediate family or the spouse. At least from where I come from, that is how it is. So for them to get intimate information, health information, that means they had acquired it illegally. And she even called them out, but she couldn't file a suit against them because they played by the wire. What they wrote was not libelous enough to be presented at court. But now this is why I say this is why Prince Harry is doing it. For all those people who have been terrorized by the Mail and the Mail on Sunday, and they can't speak out for themselves, this is why they're doing it, for those people. And it was just so saddening. It was just so saddening to see him break, to see him tear up when he said how miserable they had made his wife. And that, my loves, that just shows you how much he loves his wife. And I started this live by saying that these days, love, people just treat it as a noun and forget that it is a verb. And here is a clear representation of love. He loves his wife so much that for what they did, they had to be held accountable. Like, he was so stoic, he was so composed when they were speaking about his life and what they did to him, because he had hardened himself about it. But when we got to Duchess Meghan, how they had made her life a misery, he broke down a bit. And we just felt for him. This is a guy that loves his wife dearly, whom they've tried and made her life miserable. Because I remember even in around 2023 January, excuse me, there's a day they wrote close to 50 articles about her. 50 articles about her. And that was in 2023. And mind you, they had left Britain on June 2020. 3 years. And she still made the headlines. And I think that was the spark, because that was on January 2023. And on June 2023, he went after the Mirror and he won. And in his witness statement, he said that actually he had come to accept it, not because the institutional, moral of the story or hashtag was never complained, never explained, and he had come to be used to it. But he said that on 2016, when he met Duchess Meghan, that is when they started attacking her. That is when he took outside counsel for the first time. Ah, my loves, come on, this just warms my heart. This is a real life love story we are seeing, you know, like the moment they started attacking his then girlfriend. Mind you, they weren't married yet, but he just knew from the get-go, this is my happily ever after. And 2 years, 2018 in Windsor, they got married. So he knew, this is my happily ever after. And you dare go against my happily ever after. Mind you, he was a soldier. He's a soldier. He served for 10 years. 10 years, a decade. He was a soldier, a gunner, flying an Apache, a gunner out there, a gunner, my loves. And they dared come after his wife, and he was like, enough is enough. Enough being Mr. Nice Guy when you go after my wife. I don't care who you are. Because these prints are some of the biggest papers. I mean, they have over 100 years of history. They were started in the 19s, but he did not care. They went after, they touched something they shouldn't have. And that just warms my heart, honestly. But when you take a step back, I think this is something that they've always tried to do. You know, I think it's something I addressed actually in a video of mine recently. And I said, I think, actually, I trust that they did have a story somewhere, you know, somewhere in a dark room, evil step, the evil witch style, you know, gothic style, somewhere, cooking up a bad story for Prince Harry. You know? The script, if I may just replay it, I remember, I think their script, they were like, let's attack Prince Harry's love life. Yeah, let's attack Prince Harry's love life. Let's make him miserable. Yeah, let's make him miserable. Let's make him depressed. He shouldn't be happy. Let's make him depressed. They were like, yes, that's wonderful. And then they were like, let's push him to drugs and alcohol. Yes, let's push him to drugs and alcohol. And when he goes to drugs and alcohol, he'll do stupid stuff. And he will make stupid decisions. And they were like, oh, my loves, yes. And when he does those stupid decisions, we shall be there to record. We shall be there to report on it. And we shall make money. And he lived miserably ever after. That was their story. That was their play. Because, I mean, from those witness statements, we saw how they went after his then girlfriends. Like, yo, Chelsea at a moment said that she felt like she was being hunted. They were tracking her, blagging her whereabouts. Same with Cressida. You know, and in both situations, apparently it worked out. And in the that little book, they were like, it's miserable, we love that. But then Duchess Meghan came along, and so they were like, we go on the same script. They were like, bring the script. Let's go over the script again. Let's attack her. Let's make her miserable. Let's make them separate, so that Prince Harry can go back to being miserable and our story can continue. I think that's why they went after Duchess Meghan so hard. Every day, left and right, smears, lies all over. But they didn't know that nothing would separate them. In their sad little book, in their sad, wicked notebook, nothing could separate them. And even Prince Harry himself admitted in that statement, he said they were pushing him to do drugs and alcohol. That is something factual. They were pushing him to do drugs and alcohol. So that, because when you're drunk, you make stupid decisions, you make a fool out of yourself. People can't take you seriously. That is what they wanted to do with him. So when Duchess Meghan came, that is why they went after her so hard, trying to break them apart. And when they got married, yo. It is a day that they'll remember for the rest of their lives, because I think on their side they just experienced earthquakes, type 10 earthquake on the Richter scale, because it was just, he was going to be happy with a wife, a very beautiful wife that he loved. They made a very beautiful couple. And when she got pregnant, they did not even ease up a bit. They even upped the ante, expecting them to break up. And when Prince Harry saw that this was all going too far, they left. They left. They left. Some things, like it was like flies buzzing around the house. So you just leave the house and leave the flies there. They were left there. They couldn't now plug their movements. They couldn't track them. And that pissed them off so much. So it was very nice seeing Prince Harry in court addressing the mistreatment they did to him and his wife. And I love that his children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, will not get to experience such type of nonsense, because from what we are seeing in Montecito, those children are having a blast. They are having a wonderful life, and we love that for them. And I get now why he's coming after them, to ensure that his children don't grow up with the same fuss, with the same stupid stuff, with the same smears they wrote about them. They get to be a happy family. They get to enjoy being kids. And I just love that, honestly. And as usual, they had to try and lessen the impact that he was going to have. I saw Celia Walden write a piece on the Telegraph, saying that let this be your last battle against Britain. Britain? Celia? Britain? Do you and your little cronies of the Rangers and delusional people represent the whole of Britain, or what? Because he was never there against Britain. He was there against Associated Newspapers Limited. And unless Associated Newspapers Limited became the whole of Britain, then he was just here against you and the stupid Rangers and cronies who write smears, who write false stuff against Prince Harry. He wasn't here for Britain. And the rest of Britain actually was just couldn't get enough of him. They all stood there at the courts waiting to see him, trying to greet him. So you portraying it as if it's a fight against Britain. Celia, they still can't stop trying to derail his message. They can't stop trying to sabotage him. Because that's what they do. That's what they're good at. And when I saw that piece, I laughed. Because how can he be fighting against Britain while he's simply going after the Mail and the Mail on Sunday? So unless the Mail and the Mail on Sunday represent the whole of Britain, damn Celia. And when has he ever fought against Britain? I mean, she said, let this be your last battle. Last battle? That means there was a first, a second, a third. When did Prince Harry fight Britain? He simply fought institutions that were unfair to him and his wife. Simple as that. That's not breeding. I mean, that's not breeding. So, and I also saw the Times write an article. It was written by, it was written by an article on the Mail on Sunday, and in there he portrayed Harry and Meghan as a pub brawler. He tried to portray him as a brawler. Yeah, it was written by Tom Peck, exactly. And first and foremost, he is a parliamentary sketch artist. This is a parliamentary sketch artist. Like, with all the array of journalists and reporters they had, they just couldn't get somebody else. They just had to try and negate his message. They just had to try and bully him from the get-go. And I understand, but they get their fears, because for an industry that has operated with unknown sources, for an industry that has operated under private, classified sources, and we can't disclose our sources, what Prince Harry is doing is going to rock them. The impact he's leaving is going to shock them. And actually, I have the piece here. He said, Prince Harry in court looked like a pub prowler, desperate for a fight. Ish. Pub prowler. Sheesh. Okay. Desperate for a fight. Oof. They're trying, that is just how much they're trying to derail what he's all about. They're trying to diminish what he's trying to do. And actually, even his barrister, David Shabon, clearly stated that when he began this case against them, the attacks only got more aggressive. But one thing I love about Prince Harry is that he never faltered. Not at all. Not even once. Not even once did he falter. No matter how many smear campaigns they try and do, no matter how much they come at him. And let's take a step back, my love, something that I just remembered. Oh, my days. Some of the reporters who were critiquing Prince Harry. Oh, my days, they don't even know what they're doing. I remember in Good Morning Britain, Richard Madley, he was very vocal, mind you, very vocal, but he was just making noise, saying stupidity, just oozing out of his mouth. Very vocal, saying that when the barrister for the Mail, Mr. Anthony White, alleged that Prince Harry texted or communicated with the Mail journalists under a pseudonym by the name Mr. Mischief. And I remember Richard was so pumped up, so psyched up, saying nonsense, but saying it with so much pop, with so much fire. And he was like, why did Prince Harry give evidence? Why did Prince Harry combat this? Oh, he was asked about Mr. Mischief. Why didn't he was in the witness stand. Why didn't he give witness against or to disclaim such claims by Anthony White? And the lawyer, I think it was Jonathan, Jonathan, he had to explain it to him. He had to educate him that first and foremost, Prince Harry is the complainant. You don't give evidence as a complainant. That is why we have lawyers. It's like me trying to treat myself and trying to do a surgery on myself, and there's a surgeon for that cause. That is why we have lawyers, Richard. That is why we have lawyers. And he was like, oh, why didn't Prince Harry give evidence against himself to try and Stop, hold your horses, Richard. First and foremost, that's a cross-examination. All Harry needed to do was answer yes or no, and he said no. He denied it clearly. His work was done. His role was done. nothing else was expected of him. And I'd expect that before going on live air the following day, at least you do a little bit of research so that you don't come out looking like a fool in front of the whole world. Because he was, I mean, the guy in question has been caught shoplifting twice. Not once, twice, my loves. Twice. Twice. Oh, my loves, he has been caught shoplifting twice. And his evidence is that sometimes you might forget to pay for something. Now, unlike those false claims that they have always had against Prince Harry, this is something that is true. This is something that is clear. He has been arrested twice for shoplifting. Don't they pay their reporters or what? Because once can be attributed to an accident, sure. Twice. Twice. Hey. Hey. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Twice. And shame on me. Because, and this is the person that is calling out Prince Harry in court. This is a person that is calling him out for lying, or I don't know, for not presenting evidence, for not being truthful enough. And he has been caught shoplifting twice. My loves, those are the kind of people that are critiquing Prince Harry. Take a moment to digest that. Because to me personally, that was just funny. I burst out laughing when I saw his record, and I was like, Richard. And these are the kind of people that they have doing smears against the Sussexes, you know? And this just explains a lot about what they write, what they see. Because if these are the people that are out here trying to critique them, then oh, my loves, excuse me, that was just, it made me laugh. Honestly, I don't know about you, but to me, that cracked me up a bit. I loved it. I just loved it. And another thing that was apparent is that it was not just about him. For Prince Harry, it was not just about him. Because on Thursday, when Elizabeth Hurley was being cross-examined, he was there. On Thursday, he was there. He came. He had no business being there, but he came. You know, came, sat together with her son, Damien. He sat next to him in the audience there while his mom was being cross-examined. And he even comforted the young man when he heard the atrocities they had committed against his mother. You know, he was there. This is not just a vendetta. You know, they're trying to portray it as if it's revenge. It's not revenge for her. It's not. This is not revenge. This is someone seeking accountability. And he was there on Thursday to support Liz through the whole thing. And one thing I love about them is that they're so strong, because at a point during her cross-examination, Liz broke down a bit because of the extent that they had violated her privacy. But she got herself back quickly. They asked her if she wanted to take a break. She said, no. Dried her tears, composed herself, and finished the whole thing. That is the strength that I love about them. That although these memories are hurtful, although these memories are difficult to remember, it does not deter them. They're strong in that way. And even as Prince Harry finished his cross-examination, where the Daily Mails and their lawyers ran with the tail behind their legs, he said that today we reminded them who was on trial and why. And that uncomfortable feeling, yes, he wanted them to have that. And after that, on Thursday, he went to meet Baroness Doreen Lawrence. She was also another claimant. He went to give her his support. He went to give her his support because that is the kind of guy he is. He did not do this. So when they try to portray it as if it's a revenge saga, it's if he has a bone to pick with them, we tell them that is not the case. Prince Harry is not out here for revenge. He's out here for accountability, which they get because they're on the side of truth, my loves. And that will never falter. Trust you me. So, what did you think about the whole proceedings and the whole trial? Let me know in the comments what you thought about Prince Harry and the other claimants. Everything about that. Because I just admire them, honestly. The heart that it takes to relive such terrible memories. It really takes, we just had to applaud them for what they were doing because it was not just about them. At the end of the day, it's not just about them. It's about all those others that have been hurt under this tabloids and this unlawful information gathering by the tabloids, whom just look after the clicks, not caring whom they hurt. It was for them. And before I forget, after the trial, like Prince Harry never ceases to wow me, my loves. After the trial, when the United States President Donald Trump, he claimed that we don't need our allies. They're still a little bit in the dark. We could have fought without them. When he said awful things about their allies, Britain included, that Celia was claiming Harry was fighting against, nobody in the royal family spoke against it. Their King Charles' mom, Prince William the heir, where was he? In Scotland, riding scooters, I don't know. And Prince Harry, the one that they've tried to turn into a pariah, he was the one that spoke up. He was the one that spoke up about that and reminded President Trump that no. You can't just lie about us like that and I'll just let you be. And I just loved his statement. And I'll just read it anyway. I just loved it. I'll read it. In 2001, NATO invoked Articles 5 for the first and only time in history. It meant that every allied nation was obliged to stand with the United States in Afghanistan in pursuit of our shared security. Allies answered that call. I served there, I made lifelong friends there, and I lost friends there. The United Kingdom alone had 457 personnel killed. Thousands of lives were changed forever. Mothers and fathers buried sons and daughters. Children were left without a parent. Families are left carrying the cost. Those sacrifices deserve to be spoken about truthfully and with respect, as we all remain united and loyal to the defense of diplomacy and peace. Wow, Prince Harry. Wow. Like just wow. He did not go after him trying to be mad or anything. He just went after him cool-headed, articulate well enough. And I just love that because Prince Harry, he is not, as I said earlier, my loves, the successes just keep on proving me right. They don't just talk the talk, they walk the talk. Prince Harry has served in the war. He was in the British military for 10 years, a decade. And in this war that Donald Trump was claiming that the Allies stayed a little bit far back, he did 2 tours, my loves. 2 tours. No one, but 2 tours. And he flew an Apache helicopter as the gunner. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't think an Apache helicopter is going to be a little bit off the back while you're fighting terrorists or whatever you're fighting up front. It does not get up close as much as that, because that means he was at the front lines. You know, he was at the front lines and he did 2 tours, 2008 and 2012. I remember even that his Meghan posted a picture of him in an Apache helicopter. And there's this interview, this famous interview where he was being interviewed, and then he saw his comrades running towards the helicopters. There was an emergency of some sort, and he left the interview halfway and ran and went to help his comrades, the friends that he made in the army, and some that he lost. My loves, this is somebody who experienced war, who knows the pain of war, who has lived it twice. He was deployed twice. I just, nothing left to say, man. He was deployed twice. In a war where it was not, they were helping as allies. And 457 personnel died. And I saw the reactions of the various veterans who had fought in the war, how much that statement from Prince Harry meant to them. Because he's one of them. He's someone who has served alongside them. He knows what they went through. He knows the horrors that they experienced there. So for him to come out and speak about it so boldly, and mind you, knowing that Trump had at a point threatened to revoke his citizenship, but he didn't care because that is who he is. He saw an injustice and it had to be corrected, and he spoke about it. And it was just amazing. And this is not something new actually to us, because he founded the Invictus Games in 2014 to help veterans or active personnel who had been wounded in combat, who had been wounded in the line of duty, to get together, to meet, you know, have that sporty, you know, that team vibe, you know, and know that they're not alone, that despite whatever physical and mental challenges they were going through, this was a platform for them to come together and just enjoy themselves and just compete in a nice platform. That is something he did in 2014, 12 years ago. That just shows you that this is something that is close to him. This is something that matters to him. And I saw they announced the Invictus Awards last week that are going to be held on September. And we just say, bravo, Prince Harry, because this is not just someone who experienced war. He knows how it affects you. He's been there, he's lived it. And he did not forget them. You know, after he came out of war, he did not just now pretend that that was a chapter that he had left behind. No. He attends each and every Invictus Games, and he meets, interacts with them, poses for pictures with them, speaks to them, encourages them, you know. Something that a leader does, you know, he leads from the forefront. And that was just so wonderful for him, And even so, Duchess Megan posting pictures of the Invictus game and of Prince Harry on her Instagram to support her husband, because that's what they do. They back each other up, my loves. But that was nice. Honestly, that was a very nice. That was nice. I loved what I saw. I loved reading about it. I loved seeing it. Because this is someone who doesn't just allow injustices to go by. He acts upon them. And I enjoyed that, honestly. But, my loves, and then I saw an article, I don't know, claiming that King Charles mysteriously spoke to Donald Trump and that he halted his comments and whatever. I sort of just gave them the bombastic side eye, just gave them the side eye like this. I'm like, oh, oops. When did I see that? And let me take a cup of water for now. We'll continue after the break. My loves, unfortunately, that was my time for today. It was just so interesting to talk about the Titans. My loves, I am sorry, but that's goodbye for now. I got caught up speaking so much about the Titans. I just get so I just lose myself. But my time is up. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching me, for your interactions, for everything. And we'll pick up from where we left the next time. So this is not going to be the last time you're seeing me here. So this is just a goodbye, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for your love, for your support. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I love you all. Kisses.